Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Carry On Cleo from 1964, directed by Gerald, and of course the 10th film in the series. So yes, we're back once again, ready to discuss another Carry On film, and yeah, been very recently that I saw this one actually, my most recent Carry On watch. So yeah, very interesting of course, and will be a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first and then come back to this discussion here. We can kind of talk from there, and you can kind of give your opinion on this and different Carry On films as always. So yes, with that said, let's dig in. And yes, this was my first time watch of this film very recently, although it's kind of one of the first, I guess, reviews that I'm doing of the Carry On films in terms of the first of them. It's definitely yes, kind of, I think the 19th or 20th that I actually saw, as so very recently, obviously a week ago now that I saw this film. So yeah, I just thought, well, it's fresh in my mind. I would talk about this film, and a very interesting film it is, and we'll say it now, one of my favourite Carry On films. Instantly just fell in love with this really, and this is definitely a very, very good film. Just such a kind of a strong script, and very, very focused. I guess for I've been watching a lot of the early ones very recently. That's the kind of ones that I really went in order, really. Kind of exact order. From Sergeant, quite a few of them, and then seeing this, the comparison. It's definitely much more focused. And we start off the film with Caesar's invasion of Britain, showing that, and I guess most people can kind of piece together the rest of the events that's going on in the film. So I won't get into the plot any more than that. But of course, Julius Caesar is played by Kenneth Williams. So of course, that is checking one of the boxes, and just hilarious to see, and what a treat that is. Obviously, my personal favourite, Carry On actor, and he's playing Julius Caesar himself, and this is just great to see. Just throughout, hilarious, lines of dialogue from Kenneth Williams, and some of the best actually. Some are actually not as well though. Some of the famous ones, kind of not entirely original lines, but regardless, the way it's used in this film, it's so great. And we have, of course, quite a lot of the speaking on that, the Carry On cast. We have Sid James, again, one of my favourites in the series. He's playing Mark Anthony, so that is great. And obviously Amanda Barrie in her second, Carry On kind of role, and her last as well, playing Cleopatra herself. So that's great to see. And we have Kenneth Connor, Charles Hawtrey, quite big roles. Joan Sims as well, another kind of big role in the film. Jim Dale is in the film, again, one of my very favourites. Not given as much, as we go throughout the film. As we know, kind of taken a bit of a backseat, his character, and then he comes in again at the final act a bit more. But starting out the film, I was thinking on that, I wish. It was great to see, for example, Kenneth Connor and Jim Dale kind of teaming up here. As the cavemen at the beginning, and I thought, room for a treat. But I guess when they split up, as we know from the story, kind of, it's kind of a shame, I guess, that Jim Dale wasn't in it even more, and he wasn't used quite as much as I thought he would be, especially considering the way the film's set up. But Kenneth Connor. On the flip side of that, Kenneth Connor, is kind of focused on quite a bit, in this film, and he is one of my favourite characters, in this film, and essentially, by accident, kind of becoming the kind of prestigious, bodyguard, of course, and everyone thinks, a lot of people, including Mark Anthony, are thinking, how is he taking out all these men? What's going on here? There's something fishy about this, but in the end, the great thing is that he kind of proves himself. Still kind of by accident, but it's just in front of them, I guess, and kind of proving his worth, and just the irony throughout the film, of his thread is one of the best things about this film. The running gag, that he's taking out all these enemies, and just by accident, of course, we're seeing that, and in the end, the way that comes together, is priceless, and I love the whole kind of innocence to his character, and seeing Kenneth Connor. All these early films. It is for a while. This is the kind of last film Kenneth Connor was in. Carry On films until I believe Carry On Up the Jungle. So that's really quite sad because he really came into his own throughout these films. He was a staple in the early ones, and then he was given much more of a role in some of these ones as well. around this one, and especially Carry On Cleo, given such a great role, and then he was absent for quite a few of the real signature, I guess, Carry On films, Camping Doctor, Screaming, all these ones, and then he returned in the kind of almost the last third, really, of the kind of the Carry On films. But regardless, he's great, and I love Kenneth. He's one of the kind of definitely one of the signature kind of Carry On actors, and yeah, obviously we haven't got a few things in this film, just getting in the way out the flaws or the things that could have been better, or things I would have liked. We haven't got Barbara Windsor, we haven't got Hattie Jakes in this film. Who else is there? There's a few that's not in this. Obviously Peter Butterworth and Bernard Bresslaw did not come into the series at this point. That was the next film, Carry On Cowboy, and they were kind of regulars for the rest of the a lot of the rest of the series. Obviously Screaming as well, as the one after Cowboy, which I love, and so some of the Carry On regulars were not in it at this point, and also those that were previously in this series, Barbara Windsor and Hattie Jakes, were not in this film, so that's a shame. Hattie Jakes especially, I think, would have really fit in well to this, and I think perhaps involving Kenneth Connor, stuff like that. I was thinking that would have been hilarious, but that's fine. And I guess here and there, if I really thought about it, there are a couple of patches, very slight patches of lulls here and there, and just kind of, I wouldn't say flat moments, but just some patches of lulls, some slights here and there, but generally the flow overall is very, very strong, and that's one of the things about this film, as I say, the script, the ideas, and the way it kind of, we have plot and character, and just moments of general comedy, kind of sketch-like moments, the format here. It's so effective, and I love the way this film looks. That's one of the things as well. Have a lovely flow, really nice editing, but the visuals, the Carry On films, I always like how they look, how they're kind of presented. It's always nice to see, but I think really my favourite, visually is Carry On Screaming. It's much more film-like, obviously going for the Hammer, kind of a gothic look. If I was to say my second favourite, is probably visually this film here, Carry On Cleo. I think the way this film looks, it really is quite stunning at times, and the sets, obviously, just great to see, and obviously this film did take a lot of the left behind sets of the actual Cleopatra film from '63. They moved production to Rome, obviously, and leaving behind some of the sets and costumes as well, of that film. So they just used those for this film, which is great, and it's really quite bizarre, but great nonetheless. And I think there was 79 sets in the Cleopatra film '63. So this is not the grand scheme of things. It's not kind of a big thing, but yes, I guess. That kind of added to the luxury feeling of this film, more of the higher budget, feel of the film, and the whole look of this is just great, and I love use of colour, and just it just really looks so nice, and I love the way the characters are staged, and just really lovely looking film, and kind of a luxury experience for the Carry On, because. Most of the Carry-Ons, are obviously famously low budget. That was just the way they done it, and I guess it's kind of novelty to kind of to see this, and for example, Carry On Screaming, where it's a bit more of a film-like, experience, and it's just great to see, obviously. And then we have as well, just after that first act, though, I really like the way that the kind of the threads develop. Obviously, Amanda Barrie is really great as Cleopatra, and I love the interactions between obviously as well Sid James and Cleopatra, and everything's going on with Kenneth Connor, and how it kind of weaves into the narrative, and different characters are kind of crossing paths and teaming up. That's one of the great things about this. Kenneth Connor, Kenneth Williams, the team up, and obviously in the background Jim Dale kind of going off and doing his thing, and then coming together at the end. But as well, Mark Anthony, played by obviously Sid James, him and Kenneth Williams together on screen is great. Obviously, he does, as we know, betray, at different points, Kenneth Williams, and in the end, Kenneth Williams, obviously Caesar does perish. He does in the final moments of the film, he does fall, and that is it's just obviously the way of what happened, obviously. But yes, it's great to see throughout the film, at least, the kind of charming team up, of these different characters. And again, one of my favourite things about this film is just Kenneth Connor, and his the whole way in which he kind of bumbles his way through the film, and the kind of the plot, and kind of taking off enemies by accident. Some great slapstick that kind of comes about from that idea, and that theme of ironic kind of combat, what's going on there with him killing all the different enemies and stuff and taking them out, and it's great to see. We have Joan Sims as well, adding a lot to the film. I really loved her in this film, as always. She was great, and just kind of the interactions between her and Sid James, and then him going off, and the way it kind of comes together at the end, is priceless. And I loved the use of music in this film as well, and the writing. That's one of the main things. The writing of this film, is really, really strong, and it's one of those carry-on films where it's really, really, really focused. At the same time, though, it is just a fun film. It's not kind of taking itself too seriously. It's just right, and I get, it's not one of my absolute top tier favorite carry-on films, but it's right up there, I guess, with my favourites. One of the best that I've seen, and I imagine that won't change. This is easily my top 10 carry-on films. Just the way in which this film is so fun and charming, just carefree, but not to the point where it's unfocused and kind of going off the rails. It's just so tight, while also being quite free and allowing for just free-form comedy and kind of improvised feel comedy, and great slapstick as well. Moments that are kind of staged, of course, but just feel so organic, in the way it's done, and again, just so kind of cool to see, them taking on this kind of time period, and these obviously famous characters, these kind of famous individuals, and just in general different things, of the genre, kind of Swords and Sandals films, I guess kind of, you can see the different things that they're kind of playing on here, and it's just a very, very effective, clever, but just charming, kind of a warm, fuzzy feeling carry-on film, and certainly one that I had a great time watching, and just seeing all these different cast members again. Quite a few when you think about it. Regulars, really, you could say minor or major regulars to the series, not being present here, and as I say, Peter Butterworth, Brenna Breslaw, not in the series yet, and obviously a few as well, Hattie Jakes, not in this film. Would have liked to have seen Hattie Jakes especially, but again, it doesn't kind of matter too much, because we have quite a few of the regulars, and they are so great in this film, what they're doing, kind of in the script, what they're given, and just the execution, and it's such a charming film, this, and not much more to say here. First time watch for me, it's more than pleasant, to say the least, and just such a kind of warm film, a charming film, and hilarious for the most part, carry-on film. So yes, overall this film truly is one that I really had a great time watching, and a very, very good film, one that I loved, obviously, and you just loved watching, and it was so charming, and so many of the carry-on ingredients, I guess, kind of, that's what we'll say to describe it. So many of the kind of ingredients are here, the ones that I look for, and how would I judge my favourite, my ultimate carry-on film, or just one of my favourites? What does it need to have? So many of the ingredients are here, and a couple of maybe the seasoning parts, are not there. Like Jim Dale being a bit more utilised, I guess, and more of a focus throughout, like Karen Screaming Doctor, for example. Obviously, Camping, one of my favourites, but doesn't actually have Jim Dale. But yeah, stuff like this. But we have Joan Sims as well. Being back after quite a few, films. Regardless, she was in that, but there was a few in between she wasn't in, obviously. And then in this one, once again, she was in. From this film, I believe she was in most of the films, actually. Kind of, all of the films going forward, really. Not in Columbus and stuff, but just so many, I guess, kind of characters Coming and going though, Kenneth Connor would be a last film for him until The Jungle, as I say. Very fascinating film. Some of the Carry On team are not here, but most of them, you know, the essential players are here, and they are giving it them all. They're all, and just really being given such great roles, and you know, kind of pivotal characters to play. Obviously, Mark Anthony, played by Sid James, and Julius Caesar, played by Kenneth Williams. Obviously, Amanda Barrie as well. Her final film in the series, playing Cleopatra, and I love the way that you know, she was playing Cleopatra. Just such a kind of charming film, and you know, so much class in this film. You know, just the sets, obviously, loving seeing the sets and the way the film was shot and edited. They really made the most of this, and had a great time as well. Clearly, because it's such a kind of fun, you know, just free, once again, Carry On film, and it was just so pleasing to see. You know, Charles Hawtrey as well, one of my favourites, and he's in this film, really quite hilarious at times, and yes, especially, you know, funny to see Kenneth Connor and you know, Kenneth Williams, kind of, you know, the interactions there as well. Francis de Wolff, you know, that's an interesting, you know, actor to kind of be in a Carry On film. The only one he was in, I loved this actor. You know, he was in different Hammer films. You know, so it's great to see him. You know, his role is hilarious as well, and once again, a perfect choice of casting there. Francis de Wolff, you know, kind of playing off, you know, Kenneth Williams and stuff there. You know, it's great to see. You know, so many, as I say, ingredients, Carry On ingredients in this film, and yeah, one of my favourites, I guess. So overall, my final rating for this film is an 81%. So yes, very much high score from me indeed, and yeah, just what can I say? You know, very, very good film, one that I did love, and yeah, just seeing, of course, you know, Kenneth Williams and Kenneth Connor, for example, Sid James, and all these great actors, you know, in these really great roles. It's just such a charming film, and yeah, most of the film is very consistent. You know, just hilarious mostly throughout, and what can I say? I loved watching this film. Highly recommend seeing it if you've not already seen this, and yeah, just definitely one of my favourite, you know, Carry On films. Again, some things here and there that aren't, you know, kind of just some lulls here and there, or things that could have been even better. But for the most part, you know, I don't really have too many flaws with this film. Certainly no major flaws, and just some things that, you know, are slightly, yeah, just some slightly flatter than the rest of the film, and yeah, lulls here and there, and some things that could have been even better, and just a couple of key players, you know, quite, you know, missing, I think, from this experience, especially, you know, Hattie Jakes, for example. But yes, regardless, you know, this film I did love, and it was great to see this one. You know, really looking back on this with fond memories already, and yeah, just it'd be great to rewatch this film, obviously, over the years, in the future, and yeah, just definitely one of the best for me. The Carry On films, not quite, you know, kind of a top 3 material from what I've seen, but one of the very, very best for me, and definitely highly charming and warm, and just you know, unforgettable Carry On experience. So yes, that's my thoughts of this film. What do you think? It'd be great to hear, and you know, leave your thoughts in the comments, and you know, how would you rank this film? You know, some would put this lower, but I really do personally think this is one of the best Carry On films. It'll be very, very high on my ranking when I do eventually do the ranking, you know, on YouTube of the Carry Ons, and yeah, just great to see this, and it'd be really great to hear your thoughts on this film, and you know, we can talk about different Carry On films, obviously, in the comments. No spoilers, you know, if it's other Carry On films, obviously, but yes, you know, great to discuss this film and different Carry On films, as always. So look forward to my next Carry On review, obviously, and just reviewing all these films is quite a task, but I'm doing it nonetheless, and yes, just been having a great time going through these. Can't stress that enough. It's been such a great experience, and only now really getting into the kind of yeah, the real meat of the reviewing the films. You know, quite a delay there, but that's just how I do on the channel, and you know, how it happens, I guess. But yes, you know, we'll be reviewing all of them, obviously, and as well, you know, the later ones, you know, like Columbus as well. I'm trying to see that one. Obviously, as well, Manuel. So we'll be reviewing all of the films in this series, and then again, a reminder, a ranking will come. But yes, for now, let's just kind of talk about these films, enjoy you know, kind of talking about them, discussing them on the channel, and for me, continue to watch the films and rewatch, of course, these films, and then, you know, come back and talk about them as well. So yes, that's it for now, and it'd be great to do this, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts as well in the comments. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.